Cruise ship secrets? 14 things your cabin steward secretly wishes you'd stop doing. Your cabin steward works harder than almost anyone else on the ship, but there are things passengers do every day that secretly frustrate them. And the truth is, most guests don't even realize they're making their steward's job harder. From cluttered cabins to careless bathroom habits, these small behaviors add up to big headaches for the crew. In this video, we'll uncover 14 things your cabin steward secretly wishes you'd stop doing, and how avoiding them will make your cruise smoother and more enjoyable. Let's start with one of the most common frustrations they face. Number 1, leaving your cabin in complete chaos. Your steward isn't your personal maid, yet some passengers treat them that way. On one Caribbean sailing, a steward described how a family left clothes, toys, and food wrappers scattered across every surface. He couldn't even get to the beds without moving their belongings first. What should have been a 5-minute tidy-up turned into a half-hour ordeal. Because of that, he fell behind on his schedule, which led to complaints from other passengers waiting for their cabins to be serviced. Stewards are responsible for cleaning anywhere from 15 to 25 cabins per day. They're expected to move quickly so every guest has a fresh room. When cabins are excessively messy, it slows down their routine and adds unnecessary stress. In 2025, with stricter cleaning standards still in place, the workload is heavier than ever. Take 2 minutes each morning to put dirty clothes in a pile, throw away trash, and keep walkways clear. Small efforts make a big difference for your steward, and you'll get faster, more thorough service in return. But clutter isn't the only issue. Even something as simple as how you use the towels can create huge problems for your steward. Number 2, using every single towel in the room daily. It feels luxurious to grab a fresh towel every time, but your steward quietly dreads it. A couple on a Mediterranean cruise had a routine: shower in the morning, shower after excursions, and shower again before dinner. By the end of each day, they had used every towel in the cabin, leaving heaps of wet laundry on the bathroom floor. Their steward had to haul extra loads to the laundry department, delaying his schedule and creating tension with the laundry crew, who were already overworked. Laundry operations on cruise ships run like clockwork. Every extra towel adds strain on machines, staff, and schedules. When dozens of passengers overuse towels, it can create a chain reaction of delays. Your steward isn't frustrated because you're using the towels, it's because of how excessive use impacts the entire system. Reuse towels when you can, just like at a hotel. Hang them on the racks to signal they're still in use. If you need fresh towels, ask politely, but try to keep it reasonable. Your steward will notice the effort, and you'll likely receive even better service throughout your cruise. Of course, towels aren't the only bathroom problem. What you leave behind on the counter can make your steward's day much more difficult. Number 3, leaving toiletries scattered across the bathroom. To you, a counter full of toiletries is a convenience. To your steward, it's a daily obstacle course. One steward recalled a passenger who brought so many bottles, sprays, and makeup products that the bathroom counter was completely covered. Each time she went in to clean, she had to carefully move every single item, wipe the surface, and then put it all back exactly as she found it. One slip could result in complaints or accusations of losing personal property. The process cost her valuable minutes in every cleaning round. Cabin stewards are trained to clean quickly and efficiently. When surfaces are cluttered, it slows them down and adds stress. Worse, they can be held responsible if a guest accuses them of misplacing or damaging something while moving it. With multiple cabins to clean, even small delays add up to hours of extra work each week. And while clutter is frustrating, there's one behavior that doesn't just slow down your steward. It can actually put them in a risky situation. Wait until you hear number 7. It's something passengers do without thinking that can actually get a steward in trouble with management. Number 4, ignoring the "Do Not Disturb" sign. That little sign on your cabin door matters more than you think. One steward recalled a guest who constantly left the "Do Not Disturb" sign on their door until late afternoon. When she finally removed it, she demanded fresh towels, a full cleaning, and a turn-down service immediately. The problem was the steward's shift was nearly over, and he still had several other cabins left to prepare for the evening. He ended up staying late, missing his break, and facing complaints from other passengers whose rooms weren't ready on time. Stewards balance tight schedules. They're expected to service cabins during specific windows, often twice a day. When the "Do Not Disturb" sign is left out for hours, it disrupts their rotation. They can't enter, yet they're still expected to deliver full service when it's finally removed. In 2025, With larger ships and fewer staff, timing is more critical than ever. If you want privacy, use the signs sparingly. Let your steward know if you prefer service at certain times. Most will happily accommodate if they can plan around it. Communication is the key to getting what you want without causing unnecessary stress. But sometimes it's not about signs at all. It's about how passengers treat the people working tirelessly behind the scenes. Number 5, treating stewards like personal servants. Your steward is there to help, but they're not your butler. A passenger once asked her steward to iron every outfit she planned to wear for the week, nearly 20 pieces of clothing. When the steward politely explained that pressing clothes wasn't part of his duties, she became angry and complained to guest services. He was forced to spend hours on the task anyway, which threw off his entire work schedule and left his other guests waiting. Stewards are responsible for cleaning, stocking, and maintaining cabins, not for personal chores. When guests demand tasks outside their role, like laundry, babysitting, or constant special requests, it adds stress and sometimes even disciplinary action if complaints follow. In 2025, cruise lines are stricter about efficiency, leaving stewards less room to accommodate unreasonable demands. Be respectful of your steward's role. If you need extra services like laundry or pressing, use the ship's official facilities. For small requests, ask politely and with understanding. When passengers show kindness, stewards often go above and beyond voluntarily. Of course, not all requests are unreasonable. Sometimes it's the little things passengers don't think twice about that cause big problems. Number 6, bringing messy food back to the cabin. Room service is fine. Piling buffet food into your cabin? Not so much. On one cruise, a family regularly carried plates of pasta, pizza, and desserts back to their cabin from the buffet. They often left dirty dishes and half-eaten food sitting on desks, nightstands, and even the floor. By the time the steward made rounds, the food had dried, stained the surfaces, and attracted insects. Cleaning it up took far longer than a normal cabin service and created lingering smells that frustrated the next passengers staying in the room. Cabins aren't designed to handle full meals outside of room service. Food left out creates sanitation issues, stains, and, in some cases, pests. Stewards are held accountable for keeping cabins spotless, and leftover buffet food makes that nearly impossible. If you want to enjoy food in your cabin, order through room service. Dishes are designed for easy cleanup, and staff can clear them promptly. If you do bring snacks or drinks from the buffet, dispose of them quickly and avoid leaving food lying around. But while food creates messes, it's what some passengers do with drinks that can really put stewards in a difficult spot. Number 7, hiding alcohol or prohibited items. Sneaking in banned items doesn't just risk your cruise, it can get your steward in trouble. A guest once tried to smuggle alcohol in water bottles and hide them around the cabin. When the steward discovered them during cleaning, he was torn. If he ignored it and security found out, he could be accused of covering it up. If he reported it, the passenger might retaliate with complaints. In the end, the steward followed protocol, and the guest lost the alcohol and faced a stern warning. But the tension made the rest of the cruise miserable for both of them. Stewards are trained to report prohibited items. If they don't, they risk their job. Passengers sometimes assume stewards will look the other way, but in reality, being caught with hidden alcohol, appliances, or other banned items puts crew in an impossible situation. In 2025, with security checks more advanced, the risk is higher than ever. Don't hide or smuggle prohibited items. If you want alcohol, buy a drink package or bring the limited bottles allowed under cruise policy. Respecting the rules not only avoids embarrassment, but also spares your steward from a stressful and risky situation. And this is just one of the ways passengers unintentionally make life harder for stewards. The next mistake is even more personal. Wait until you hear number 12. It's one of the most frustrating habits, and stewards say it happens almost every single cruise. Number 8, playing loud music or TV constantly. Your steward doesn't just clean your cabin, they hear everything happening inside. One steward shared how a guest left their TV blasting day and night, even when they weren't in the cabin. Every time the steward entered to clean, the noise was overwhelming. Worse, the sound carried into neighboring cabins, leading to guest complaints. The steward had to field the frustration from multiple passengers, all while knowing it was caused by a single inconsiderate guest. Stewards work in tight quarters, moving quickly from room to room. Excessive noise makes their job harder and creates tension with other guests. While ships are built with insulation, cabins aren't soundproof. In 2025, with passengers streaming content and using portable speakers more than ever, noise complaints have skyrocketed. Keep your cabin volume reasonable. If you're not in the room, turn off your TV or speaker. Consider headphones if you like watching movies late at night. Respecting quiet spaces helps not only your steward but also your neighbors. But while noise is annoying, what really causes extra work is when guests take cleaning into their own hands the wrong way. Number 9, using cabin towels and sheets as cleaning supplies. Towels and bedding are for you, not for wiping floors or shoes. A steward recalled a group of teens who returned from a shore excursion covered in sand. Instead of rinsing off outside, they used the cabin's white towels to wipe down their shoes, legs, and even the balcony floor. By the time the steward came in, the towels were ruined with stains that couldn't be removed. Laundry staff had to discard them, and the steward was scolded for waste even though it wasn't his fault. Cabin linens are strictly inventoried. When towels or sheets are damaged, it reflects poorly on the steward. Using them for cleaning floors, shoes, or spilled drinks creates unnecessary waste and extra laundry cycles. In 2025, with sustainability efforts in place, cruise lines are stricter than ever about linen usage. Use public rinse stations or showers near pools and beaches before returning to your cabin. For spills, call housekeeping for proper cleaning supplies. Respect cabin linens. They're for your comfort, not cleanup duty. But towels aren't the only issue. What some passengers do with their shoes causes even bigger headaches for stewards. Number 10. Leaving dirty shoes inside the cabin. Your steward isn't thrilled about cleaning up the trail of sand and mud you bring inside. After a shore excursion in Cozumel, a family returned to their cabin with muddy sneakers and sandy flip-flops. Instead of rinsing them on deck or leaving them in a bag, they tossed them directly onto the carpet. The next day, their steward spent half an hour vacuuming and scrubbing stains that could have been avoided. Despite his best efforts, the room still smelled musty, and the next guests later complained. Cruise cabins have limited space and carpets absorb dirt easily. Sand, mud, and wet shoes not only create messes, but might also lead to odors and permanent damage. Stewards are tasked with keeping cabins fresh, but dirty shoes make that almost impossible. Rinse shoes off at public wash stations or wipe them down before entering your cabin. Use plastic bags or shoe organizers to contain dirt. A little preparation goes a long way in keeping your cabin cleaner and your steward happier. But shoes aren't the only problem. Some passengers forget that stewards have strict cleaning guidelines to follow, and ignoring them creates major stress. Number 11, ignoring health and safety rules. When you don't follow health rules, your steward is the one caught in the middle. One steward recalled a guest who insisted on smoking in their cabin, despite clear no-smoking policies. When the smell spread to neighboring rooms, the steward was the first one blamed. Management demanded explanations, and the steward had to spend hours deep cleaning the cabin, while also dealing with angry neighbors. The guest eventually faced fines, but the steward bore the brunt of the frustration. Cabin stewards are held accountable for maintaining strict health and safety standards. When guests break rules, like smoking, tampering with safety equipment, or leaving trash in unsafe places, stewards are often the ones questioned first. In 2025, cruise lines are enforcing these policies even more tightly, and violations can put crew jobs at risk. Respect ship rules, especially those tied to health and safety. Don't smoke in your cabin, don't cover air vents, and always dispose of trash properly. When you follow the rules, you protect not only yourself, but also the crew members who work tirelessly for you. But even if you're following all the rules, there are still small habits that drive stewards crazy. And one of the most common happens almost every single cruise. Coming up at number 12 is a tiny habit that seems harmless, but stewards say it's one of their biggest daily frustrations. Number 12, ignoring cabin service times. Your steward works on a tight schedule, and ignoring service times throws everything off. One steward remembered a guest who insisted on full service twice a day, but constantly stayed in the cabin during both cleaning windows. When the steward returned hours later, the guest complained that the room hadn't been refreshed. The steward was forced to rush between other cabins to fit in this one, leaving him exhausted and behind schedule for the rest of his deck. Cabin stewards have assigned times to clean, usually in the morning and again in the evening. When passengers refuse service or linger in the room during those windows, it causes a ripple effect. In 2025, with reduced crew sizes on some ships, stewards have even less flexibility, which makes timing more critical. If you prefer a certain time for service, let your steward know at the start of the trip. Most will do their best to accommodate if they can plan around it. If you don't want service at all, use the sign or politely tell your steward so they can adjust their schedule. But timing isn't the only frustration. Sometimes it's about how guests communicate, or don't. Number 13, being rude or dismissive. The number one thing that makes a steward's job miserable isn't mess or laundry, it's disrespect. A steward recalled a passenger who snapped fingers at him whenever she wanted something. She rarely said please or thank you, and often complained to guest services about minor details. Even though he worked hard to meet her demands, she left a negative review that damaged his performance record. The lack of basic respect weighed on him for the entire sailing. Cabin stewards work long hours, often 10 to 12 per day, and their pay depends heavily on guest feedback. When passengers are rude, dismissive, or overly demanding, it doesn't just hurt feelings, it can directly impact their job security and future contracts. In 2025, guest surveys are tied more closely than ever to crew evaluations, making politeness more important. Cabin stewards work long hours, often 10 to 12 per day, and their pay depends heavily on guest feedback. Treat your steward with the same respect you'd give anyone else. A simple thank you or a kind word goes a long way. If you have an issue, raise it politely and give them a chance to resolve it before escalating. Respect builds better service for both you and your steward. And finally, the one habit stewards quietly wish every passenger would stop, because it drains their time, energy, and morale more than anything else. Number 14, forgetting to show gratitude. Your steward may never say it out loud, but the thing they notice most is whether you show appreciation. One steward described serving a family who constantly demanded extra towels, snacks, and nightly turn-down service, but never once said thank you. On the last day, they disembarked without leaving a gratuity or note of appreciation. The steward said the lack of acknowledgement made him feel invisible despite working tirelessly to keep their cabin spotless. Cabin stewards rely on gratuities and positive guest interactions for morale. While base wages cover the job, tips and gratitude show respect for the hard work they do behind the scenes. In 2025, with fewer crew per ship and more demanding cleaning protocols, appreciation is more important than ever. Always acknowledge your steward with a smile, greeting, or thank you. If your cruise includes prepaid gratuities, consider leaving a small cash tip or a kind note. Gestures of gratitude make stewards feel valued and often inspire them to go above and beyond for you. So now you know what really frustrates cabin stewards, and how to make your next cruise smoother for both you and the crew. Cabin stewards are the unsung heroes of cruising, but they deal with passenger habits that make their jobs far harder than they should be. Now you know the 14 things they secretly wish you'd stop doing, from leaving messy cabins to ignoring service times. By avoiding these mistakes, you'll not only make their workday easier, but also enjoy cleaner, faster, and friendlier service during your cruise. If you found this helpful, hit like and subscribe for more insider cruise tips. And tell us in the comments, what's the worst behavior you've seen from other passengers, or do you have a steward story of your own? The best ones might be featured in a future video. Because remember, when you cruise smarter, you cruise better.